Welcome students. In previous class we have already completed the first bit of module 3, right? In this module 3 we have studied the determination of CBR, California bearing ratio, and the modulus of subgrade reaction, and the problems on both modulus ratios and California bearing ratio problems. And again you people have already given the assignment on aggregates, their properties and test, and again bituminous materials, again properties and test, right? This is more than enough to study in this bit. And in similarly in module number 3, the pavement design is concerned, we have to study the equivalent single wheel load, that is equivalent single wheel load and its determination by using log, that is semi log graph, right? Before going to this equivalent single wheel load, we need to know the pavement types and component parts of flexible and rigid pavements and their functions, right? And this is the pavement types are, there are different types of pavements, that is concerned to flexible pavements and rigid pavements. In this flexible pavements and rigid pavements, I will share the notes on this content, that is component parts of flexible and rigid pavements and their particular functions of each layer, right? And in this video lecture I am going to discuss equivalent single wheel load and its determination. So let us move on to the content. So here in the equivalent single wheel load, in this equivalent single wheel load we will be having an wheel assembly. That wheel assembly is related to our heavy loaded vehicles, that concern to your lorries and buses, right? So here in pavement design we are going to consider a particular wheel load on the pavement and how much that wheel load is acting on the pavement individually, and how much deflection that wheel load may cause on the pavement. And our pavement design should be capable to bear the load which is coming by that particular load. But this is concerned to dual wheel. Dual wheel is considered because to maintain a maximum wheel load within the specified limit or limit of an area, to carry a greater load, it is necessary to provide a dual wheel assembly. To carry a greater load, it is necessary to provide dual wheel assembly to the rear axle of the vehicles. At the back side, you will be have seen this type of arrangements in the buses and lorries, right? There will be a two wheel assembly that is provided at the rear axle of the vehicle, that is intended to provide to carry a greater load on the rear side. In doing this, in concern to this arrangement, the effect on the pavement through this dual wheel, the effect on the pavement through this dual wheel is obviously not equal to a single wheel load by 2 times, right? So here it is concerned to say, considering a single wheel load, and there is a single wheel load and there are 2 wheels. Whenever we are considered in assembly, it is not obviously not equal to 2 times of single wheel load, because the load will get overlap on each other. Right here the depth, it is considered to a single wheel, that is what we are discussing, the equivalent to single wheel load, right? In other words, you can say the pressure at a certain depth below the pavement, it is considered to be pavement thickness at the particular depth. Right here you can consider the pavement depth. The pressure below the depth below the pavement surface cannot be obtained by numerically adding the total load on each wheel. You cannot expect the total deflection caused by load. That load can be computed by adding the total wheel load on individual, right? So here, for that reason, the effect is to be considered by considering the overlap of this load. The effect is in between the single wheel load and 2 times the load carried by any one wheel. Right here the effect is considered to be single load and 2 times the load carried by any one wheel load, right? So you can see in this image, You can see in this image. In order to consider or in order to know this analysis, the load dispersion, the load dispersion is assumed to be a single wheel load at 45 degree to the pavement, to the horizontal, right? In the dual wheel load assembly, in this particular dual wheel load assembly, here D is considered to be a clear gap between two wheels. This D is considered to be, you can see in the picture, this D is considered to be a clear gap between two wheels, right? And similarly, the S, there is a S, this S is considered to be a spacing between a centers from the two wheels. The spacing between centers from the two wheels, and the D is the clear distance between two wheels. And then we have a contact area, that is here we have a contact area. That area is considered to be denoted with A. This contact area A be the radius. This is here we are considering the radius between a particular wheel, the radius of the circular contact of each load. Here the radius is considered to be the circular contact of each load for each of the wheel, so that whenever we consider particular distance from here to here, that will be equal to the spacing that will be equal to D is the distance between the inner wheel plus 2 times of A. That can be said. The spacing between these two, the particular width is considered to be D plus 2 times of A. A is the radius, then two wheel assemblies are there, then that will be 2A plus D here. And this S can be computed with this equation, right? So this is the arrangement which we have considered to study the equivalent single wheel load, right? And here we need to know that at the deflection criteria, up to the depth, up to the considered depth at D by 2 here in the wheel assembly, each wheel load acts independently. The load is considered to be P again here. The each load acts individually up to the depth D by 2 into the pavement, right? So after this D by 2 depth, the total wheel is increased to the particular point up to the 2s, up to the point 2s, up to the depth of 2s. It is considered after the depth of 2s, it is considered to be equivalent to single wheel load. But at the distance from D by 2, at this point to this one, so you can consider at this to this, there will be a analysis from this point. Between these 2 points we have to consider the deflection criteria, right? So here we can consider up to the depth of D by 2, the wheel load acts independently, and the stress induced on the particular wheel, that will be developed after the depth D by 2 here, right? And at the depth 2s, after the depth of 2s, the stresses induced, whatever the stresses are overlapped, that is induced, are due to the effect of both the wheels at this area. In this area, up to the at the effect of adding the both the wheel loads, right? So the total stress due to the dual wheel assembly, at any depth greater than this 2s is considered to be equivalent to single wheel load. So that in this analysis we are concerned to the area of D by 2 and 2s here. In this analysis we are concerned to D by 2 and 2s over here. In this area we need to consider the whatever deflection is caused by particular load at the rear end of the vehicle. So here the equivalent single wheel load may be determined based on either equivalent deflection or equivalent stress, deflection or stress that is induced in this particular areas. So that to analyze this situation, we need to have a log graph, that is semi-log graph. So here in this case we can have another image right here. This is a graph here, as we have considered at the depth of d by 2, from d by 2 to 2s it is maybe analyzed. So here the z is considered a particular depth, a deflection is considered at a particular depth in between this z by 2 and 2s, in between z by 2 and 2s. Yet in between we can analyze or we can determine the deflections caused by particular wheel load. As per the deflection criteria, the equivalent single wheel load is that single wheel load having the same contact pressure which produces the same value of the maximum deflection at particular this depth, right, at particular this depth z, that may be considered at z1, z2, z3, at many of the points in between d by 2 and 2s. Because in d by 2 and 2s is we have considered is because here from d by 2 to 2s we have to analyze the stress. Before d by 2 depth there will be a single wheel load acts individually, and after 2s there will be a equivalent to single wheel load, but in between there is a overlap of these two wheel loads. That is why we are considering in between d by 2 to 2s. The single wheel load producing the same value of maximum stress, because we are concerned with stresses here, and that stress caused to deflections, and this stresses, the stress criteria is considered to be at z dual wheel. The equivalent single wheel load is usually determined by considering stress criteria in the semi-log graph. So here we have to plot the graph for the particular values of z that will be in between d by 2 to 2s here, right. In this graph we can analyze 2 points a and b is plotted on the log graph, that is semi-log graph. Coordinates here a is concerned to coordinates p, and here coordinates p, here you can say coordinates p and d by 2, coordinates p and d by 2 here, and b point coordinate 2p and 2s. It is standard, we need to remember this. Coordinates of point A is p and d by 2, and coordinates of point B is 2p comma 2s. P is the total load, and s is, we have already determined that s equal to d plus 2 times of a, right. This s is d plus 2 times of a. And right here, to calculate this equivalent single wheel load for dual wheel assembly, it is essential to estimate a design thickness of the pavement, because we need to determine the thickness of the pavement. Thus equivalent single wheel load is obtained by assuming the thickness of the determined by this graph. But that means we are referring this graph to determine the thickness, and the same is used in the design calculations. The thickness obtained by this graph is used by the particular design. So here we need to determine the z values. So in heavy trucks and trailers, the load on each wheel may be further reduced by multiplying multiple wheels and tandem axles. Like we might have seen, there are many wheel assemblies are arranged in the rear wheels, and that may be extended beyond this 2s, and that is why there is necessary to provide an extra wheels. But in case that is very essential to analyze for dual wheel assembly for the very heavy vehicles, that means we have to consider this z value to determine the depth of the particular pavement. So in next class I will discuss how to determine this z value and how they adapt in the design. That will be seen. Right here, this is more than enough to know about graph and equivalent single wheel load, right. Thank you.